Hi students, welcome to week 2 of REL 205 summer session A. If you have not yet viewed the week 2 PowerPoint, please take a look at the slides. They complement rather than reproduce this lecture. This week's ethnographic readings in death, mourning, and burial focus on rites and rituals. The first piece from anthropologist Nancy Shepherd-Hughes is about mothers mourning infant loss in Brazil and the social prescriptions about appropriate mourning, or at least visible and audible expressions of mourning connected to those deaths. And she looks at some of the larger context for those restrictions or proscriptions. I've uploaded a video so you can hear her talk about her research for that chapter. I think you'll find that interesting. The second piece, Arnold van Gennep's The Rites of Passage, discusses the transitional period of mourning. He calls this separation and likens the state of the newly deceased person to that of those mourning the person. Both are kind of taken out of the world, separated from society in some sense, and then the gradual reintegration of survivors back into the world of the living and into community. We'll also be reading 2 pieces from Tolstoy. The first is a short story called Strider, in which a young gelding is the protagonist of the story. And Tolstoy gives us the opportunity to use our sympathetic imaginations to see life and death from the horse's vantage point. We will also read a short selection from Tolstoy's writings on the slaughterhouse and the implications of killing and eating animals. In conjunction with that, I posted a short video that features Dr. Temple Grandin's work to ensure more humane conditions and methods for the slaughter of animals who are destined for consumption. I have also posted a video called Canned Dreams that some of you might even want to consider for your film reflection. It connects to both of Tolstoy's pieces and to Temple Grandin's work, but I find it also speaks to reproductive issues, control of women's bodies, sexuality, violence, consumption, ethics surrounding our consumption, and to Nancy Shepherd-Hughes's piece on mourning infant loss. There's a bit in the beginning that I think you could certainly tie into that. It's heavy, but it's also revelatory, and it peels away some of the invisibilities of labor and production in contemporary society. So things that we don't normally see or think about, and what they might mean. So the third section of readings are from Wild Poets of Ecstasy, and perhaps will need some ecstasis to take us out of the heaviness of some of our materials. We'll be reading poetic works from the 700 BCE to about 1273 CE. So before the Common Era into the Common Era. We'll read a psalm drawn from the Hebrew Bible, hymns and odes to Dionysus, Aphrodite, and Venus, but also poems sung to the sun and the moon and the stars and seasons and stages of life, to intoxicants of wine and nature, and also a piece from St. Francis Assisi and his love for living things, and some transcendent writings from Li Po, Rumi, Omar Khayyam, and I think you'll really enjoy those, and it provides some, texture to our course. We will have rituals connected to talk about rituals to foreground the readings, let's say. What kind of major and minor rites and rituals have been part of your own life? Baptisms, bris, confirmations, communions, first fastings, bar and bat mitzvahs, weddings, graduations, animal sacrifices. Here I'm thinking of meats associated with Thanksgiving, Eid, Passover, Easter. We have rituals connected to joining certain fields, like the white coat ceremony as students begin medical school, the donning of uniforms in branches of the military, or maybe in the police, graduating from the police academy. rituals of wearing a t-shirt, jersey, or a cap when you go to see your favorite sports team or your favorite band, and you want to demonstrate some kind of belonging. Or we have many civic rituals as well. So the Pledge of Allegiance, which becomes a major part of civic life in the 20th century, this symbolism. Removing a hat in certain contexts for men, or donning headwear in other spaces. There are cathedrals in Europe where women have to cover themselves in a particular way to enter a Catholic church, and that, of course, was the case for not so many years ago in the United States, that women had to cover their head in some way to enter a church on Sunday mornings, and men had to take their caps off. Some rituals are public and societal. Other rituals are private and or individual. We might move our body in particular ways when we enter a church or a mosque, a synagogue, or a temple. Some rituals become embodied, so we do them almost by rote. A Catholic who grew up going to weekly Mass might attend a service many years after, but remember to kneel, to sit, to stand during the Mass without thinking too much about the prompts. They're doing it almost automatically. It's embodied. The man might reflexively remove his cap in church, or place a kippah or prayer cap on his head when entering a synagogue or mosque. And then I'd like you to also think about some features that we associate with various major and minor passages and rituals. And if we were in the classroom, I would encourage you to kind of be thinking about these and calling them out, and I might write them on the board or have one of you write your ideas on the board. But since we're not, I will go through and highlight some of the things that came to mind for me. So special food, particular scents, fire, water, motion, stillness, sound, color, silence, special clothing, calendars and dates, plants or flowers, particular animals, wisdom, elders, ancestors, history, memory, futures and future generations, solemnity, inscription, sacrifice, celebration, light, darkness, chanting, music, prayer, decorations, repetition. These are just some of the things that came to mind for me, and you can certainly add to this list. It's not exhaustive, but suggestive, I hope. Our senses are often awakened and engaged through these times. So think of the sensorial implications as you read through all the readings this week. What are people smelling, tasting? What kind of feelings are they having? And I mean in a tactile sense as well as an emotional sense. What might they be smelling, hearing? Let's think about all the senses in this through the readings. Okay, and then just a little bit of wrap up. If you have missing assignments, just a couple of you do. Most everybody's on top of the work, but if you do, write me and let me know what's going on. You got a late start in the class. A couple of you did. You missed a date. Well, write me, let me know, just send me an email, arrange to get it submitted as soon as possible so that you don't get behind. You don't want to get behind at the beginning of the class, not great for completing the course. Next week you will have a discussion board assignment. This week is week 2, so this week you have discussion board assignment and response to a classmate. Okay, but next week you're going to have that, and you're going to have a short film or video reflection, and it's not too early to be thinking about that. So end of week 3, that's going to be due. Should be 3 to 4 double-spaced pages in length. That means about 900 to 1,200 words total. I'll offer some suggestions for suitable films, some of which I'll post links to or post the videos, but you can also choose to write about a film and probably will want to write something that you might find and view on your own. The only caveat, of course, is that it must be connected to the major themes of this course. And remember, a reflection is not a summary. I don't want you to tell me blow by blow, this happened and that happened, No, it's fine. You can spend a paragraph or two sketching out, if you think I'm not familiar with the film, you have no way of knowing, I guess, if I am or not, unless it's one we've posted. You can spend a little time and say, here's the rough sketch. But the main body of the paper, I want you to devote to teasing out the way the film relates to our topics and what it reveals about our topics. You do not have to use any outside sources for this paper, though you're welcome to bring something in if and when it makes sense to do so. But you're certainly encouraged to bring in any of our course materials and things from the readings. That would be great. A reminder, I will be in Havana for a conference May 29th to June 11th. I will have internet access during that time, but it may take me a day or two to respond. And I look forward to sharing some insights and perhaps some photographs that are relevant to the course that pertain to life, sex, and death in Cuban culture upon my return. I'm going to hope to visit a couple places that might be meaningful and connected to this course. So anyway, that's it for the intro to week 2, and stay in touch. Okay, thank you.